In this video, I just wanted to show you a little about the type of e-collar I use, the Mini Educator, and how to set it up, the different components of it, and the different settings you can use. So the different parts of the e-collar, first we have the charging port right here, and we also have one on the collar itself, and that is right on the bottom here. And this will come with a charger. It's a single charger, but it does have two separate cords that you can connect the box to and the remote, so you can charge them both at the same time. We also have the on and off switch. That's the big black button on the back. It has an L on it. And right next to that, we have the momentary and continuous button, and we'll get into what those are in a minute. On the side here, we've got this black button that will either be momentary or continuous, and we have the red button. It's also known as the boost button. On the front, we just have the screen that will display the setting and level that it's on. And on this side, we have a button that says T. It's called the tone button or the vibrate button. We won't be going into this one at all because I never use it. I don't see a major use for it. On the top here we have the dial, and that will be to change the level that you're currently working on. And right here is the on and off sensor, and you can see there's a matching one on the remote. They both just look like little red dots. So how you're going to turn your remote collar on is you're going to just have those two red dots pass each other, and then you'll see that green flash of light. That'll show that the collar is on. So to turn it off, it turns red, and to turn it back on, it turns green. For the remote, you just want to press this big button with the L on it, turn it over, and hold it until it lights up blue and says on. So there are two settings that you can use, momentary and continuous. The main one that I use is continuous because I train with a pressure on, pressure off method, and I'll explain more about that in my Intro to e-collar training with basic recall video. So the smaller black button on the back, it says MC. That is the button to set the momentary or continuous setting. So if you look on the front, when you hit that once, it'll go to C. That means it's just on continuous. When you click it again, you'll see M and C. That means you have both options on the remote available. And when you press it again, you'll just have an M. That means you just have momentary working on the remote. So the way I use the remote is I have M and C. I have momentary and continuous available to me. The one I mainly work with, though, is continuous. And when the remote is set up like this, the black button is momentary and the red button is continuous. So I will mostly just be using the red button. And that's really all there is to getting the remote into this setting. You just tap the smaller button on the back until you get the M and C. Remember, black button is momentary, red button is continuous. The alternate ways to set up the remote, say you just want to work on momentary or continuous, then you'll tap until you get either an M or a C. And when you're just in one of these settings, the buttons will change. The black button will just be momentary, and all momentary means is that the stim is 1/10 of a second. So it's just a real quick stim. The red button now means that it is a boost button, and what boost means is that you can set the remote to any number you want higher than your current working level. So say you work on a level 3 and you want to set your boost like 5 points above your working level. So when you tap the boost, it would be an 8. So to better show how this works, how you want to do this is you want to set the dial back to 0, and you want to press and hold the black button down until you get a flashing 1 on the screen. There we go. So from here you can set the boost to whatever you want. Standard is 5, but it's really just a preference on knowing your dog. I'm kind of playing around with it a little. So once you have 5, you just tap the black button again and it sets. So say now you're working on a level 5 and you press the red boost button, it goes up to a 10 automatically. And the main reason people use boost is if you're training and you find yourself in an area of high distraction suddenly, you can tap that boost button to quickly get your dog's attention. Like I said, I don't use boost too often. I prefer dialing up. I just find boost too limiting. You never really know what situation you're going to be in. And then once you set your boost on momentary, if you choose to use just continuous, the boost will still be the same. So say you're at 5, and you hit the boost button, you get a 10. You know, say you're at a 9, you get a 14. So you get the idea. But we're going to go back to momentary and continuous. Another feature the remote has is that you can actually lock your working number. I used to do this a lot in the beginning when I was worried about dialing up accidentally. Sometimes your finger can hit this. So if that makes you more comfortable starting out, you can do that. So say you're on the level, 6, you press the dial and hold it down, and it's locked. And you'll know it's locked because that 1D will not be flashing anymore. Hold it down again, and you can see it's flashing again. That means that you can move the dial. So the other feature of this remote that I wanted to show you was the light. And you get the light on the remote, and how you do that is you just tap the on and off button and you'll get a flashing light. Tap it again and the light will stay on. And then tap it one more time and it turns off. I like that especially at night when I'm walking my dog because I live in a not very well lit area. And it can come in handy. Other than that, you just press and hold this button to turn the remote off. It'll say off and it turns off. And then you press these red dots together again. You saw it turn red, and the collar will turn off also. So I hope this video helps you to understand a little better how to set up the e-collar and all of the different components and features it comes with.